Guys, welcome to the Real Awkward Podcast. My name is Andy.
I'm Amanda.
I am Ash.
It almost sounded a little bit like Grandma.
I was like, you don't sound too sure about it.
Today's episode is all about the mysterious ether known as Zanzibar.
I don't
Sure.
think it's an ether. I think that's a real place.
Oh, all right. My bad.
The word Zanzibar only makes me think of
That
Tenacious
is all.
D.
Zanzibar.
I'm not gonna
Order
cook
it
it,
from
but I'll
Zanzibar.
order it from Zanzibar.
I like it. I do. Oh, God. Oh, God. Sorry. I went
Oh,
to try
starting
to,
over?
I went to... Welcome to the Real Awkward Podcast.
I am Ash.
Amanda,
Yes.
you got anything weird or wacky?
Yeah,
to
you
talk
want to hear a
about?
weird story?
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
Okay.
I do. I'm excited.
You ever heard of Lawnchair Larry?
Whoa. No, but now I'm intrigued.
Does he wear socks and sandals?
I don't know. I would assume.
Okay. All right.
Once you hear the story about him, you can make many assumptions about Lawnchair Larry. I thought Andy was going to go, oh, yeah, I know all about Lawnchair Larry. I was going to talk about him today.
That episode got deleted.
Yeah, no one will know. No one will know
Whoops.
about the dancing plague.
Whoopsies.
Whoopsie. Okay, let's talk about Lawnchair Larry.
All right.
Lawrence Richard Larry Walters. I'm literally, okay, disclaimer. If you look this guy up on Wikipedia, I'm pretty much going to read the whole thing because whoever wrote this guy's Wikipedia article wrote it better than I could have restated it in my own words.
Okay. All
So,
right, fair enough.
I'm mostly just going to read the whole thing.
So y'all should donate to Wikipedia.
I mean, I don't, but you should. Okay. Larry Walters had often dreamed of flying, but was unable to become a pilot in the United States Air Force because of his poor eyesight. Therefore, he became a truck driver.
That's scary. It's not good.
He has always wanted to fly, and at age 13, he had his first idea of how to make himself fly when he was in a military surplus store. So in 1982, he decided to make his dream a reality, and he wanted to float over the Mojave Desert and use a pellet gun to control the descent when he came down on the other side.
I just imagine this is going to end poorly.
Not as poorly as you think.
Okay. All right.
So, mid-1982, Larry Walters and his girlfriend purchased 45 8-foot weather balloons from a military surplus store. So these are essentially like 2.4 meters across, deflated. Like,
so they're that's a big ass balloon.
yeah.
That's a
So
big
like,
ass balloon.
to me, I thought about like, you ever watch like the How Ridiculous videos? Like the guys on YouTube who like throw shit off of like the world's tallest tower or
yes,
like
sure.
do that. They often like see how many giant weather balloons they can pop with an arrow or whatever.
I know what you're talking about. Yes, I've seen that.
These balloons
Did I do
are
that?
massive. I've seen that, and then hits the
Keep
microphone.
your hands to yourself,
Sorry.
sir.
Sorry.
So
Trying to get handsy.
he also bought helium
Balloons.
tanks from a California balloon store. Apparently, they used forged a requisition form from his employer, Filmfare Studios, saying that the balloons were for a television commercial. And the final part of his vehicle, his lawn chair, he purchased from Sears for $109.
Okay.
On July 2nd, 1982, Larry attached 42 of the balloons to his lawn chair and filled them with helium. He put on a parachute, like surprisingly, and strapped himself into the chair in the backyard of his home in San Pedro. He only had with him a pellet gun, a CB radio, some sandwiches, 2 liters of Coke, and a case of beer.
Okay.
He also had a camera with him, which he did not use at all during his flight.
Oh, that would have been awesome to see. Yeah.
Apparently, as he was filling up the helium balloons, he needed to make sure that the lawn chair was strapped down, for security. So, being the genius that he was, he tied the one cord to the lawn chair to his Jeep.
Yes.
So while he was on the chair inflating it, his super secure tie rope broke. And Larry and the chair rose rapidly into the sky. And he went too fast before he could notify authorities.
Oh, shit. Shit.
Sorry. So according to him, he fully intended to call authorities to let people know that he was going to go flying. And he said that because the tow rope broke, he wasn't able to call in advance, to let people know.
Right. Because he only needed 3 minutes, right?
Yeah. So Larry's lawn chair rose rapidly to a height of about 16,000 feet.
Ooh.
He was spotted by 2 commercial airplanes. He also slowly drifted over Long Beach and crossed the primary approach corridor of the Long Beach airport. So there is a citizens band radio called React in the area. And since Larry had his CB radio, he was able to call into this citizens radio band and talk to someone. So the React people recorded the conversation. I don't have the recording of the conversation, but I have just a little blurb of what he said. The React employee: what information do you wish to tell the airport at this time as to your location and your difficulty? Larry then says, the difficulty is this was an unauthorized balloon launch. And I know I'm in a federal airspace, and I'm sure my ground crew has alerted the proper authorities, but just call them and tell them I'm okay. So after 45 minutes, Larry shot down several balloons with his pellet gun. And he was actually doing a very good job of making sure that he was making strategic balloons pop to avoid his new aircraft getting unbalanced.
Right.
He then accidentally dropped the pellet gun off the chair.
God damn
it. So slowly he just started to come down.
Oh, that's good.
At one point, the balloons dangling cables underneath the chair caught a power line in Long Beach. The power line broke and caused a 20-minute electricity blackout, and he somehow landed unharmed.
Wow.
Because he was moving quite slowly, he was immediately arrested by the police officers who were waiting for him. Regional safety inspector was reported to have said, "We know he broke some part of the Federal Aviation Act, and as soon as we decide which part it is, some type of charge will be filed. If he had a pilot's license, we'd suspend that, but he doesn't." Larry initially was fined $4,000 for violations under the U.S. Federal Aviation regulations, including operating an aircraft without an airport traffic area. And he failed to establish and maintain two-way communications with a control tower. Meaning, because, he wasn't an actual aircraft.
Right.
Larry appealed and argued that since his aircraft was not an actual aircraft, it was, so Larry argued that a civil aircraft for which there is not currently in effect an airworthiness certificate. Meaning his aircraft was not a real aircraft, so he shouldn't have to pay the $4,000 for violating aircraft regulations.
Sure.
Fair.
So his charge was dropped to $1,500. And apparently after he landed, he spoke to the press. He says, "It was something I had to do. I had this dream for 20 years, and if I hadn't done it, I think I would have ended up in the funny farm. Since I was 13 years old, I've dreamed of going up into the clear blue sky in a weather balloon. By the grace of God, I fulfilled my dream, but I wouldn't do this again for anything." The lawn chair was dubbed the Inspiration One. Lawnchair Larry was also awarded the title of At-Risk Survivor in the 1993 Darwin Awards. So apparently after the flight, like a little over a week later, he was on Late Night with David Letterman. He was a motivational speaker for a while. He quit his job as a truck driver, and he was in a Timex ad in the early 1990s, but didn't make much money. The lawn chair that he used in the flight was given to a friend. And then at some point, the Smithsonian asked him to donate the chair. So eventually ended up in like a journalist's house, but just like in the guy's garage. And they were able to tell that he also had water jugs underneath the chair as like a flotation device and like ballast to keep him sort of stable. At one point, the chair was on loan to the San Diego Air and Space Museum. It was later donated to the Smithsonian, and it is currently on display in the National Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C.
That's awesome.
The end of his life doesn't end super happy, so I won't end on that note.
Aww.
But I fucking wish I had the courage to be Lawnchair Larry. This guy sounds awesome.
Pretty incredible.
That's
dude.
terrifying.
Why is a lawn chair $109?
Yeah, that was my takeaway. I was
That's
like,
what he paid for it? I missed that part.
I was like, in the early 1980s, they had Kmart.
Yeah, lawn chair should have been like $20.
Yeah, and or at like a garage sale. But maybe he knew since he was going to be up there for a while, he needed to be comfy.
Well, yeah, it could have been like maybe a heavy duty or a bariatric lawn chair, because it had to hold not only all the balloons but then the water jugs and the.
That's what I
stuff
wondered too.
had,
If he was looking
dangling on
for
it,
a lawn chair, I wondered if he was looking for a lawn chair made out of a certain metal.
Yeah, I could see that
to support everything and not fall fucking
insane.
apart.
Yeah, so he had the water jugs. I'm looking at a picture here. He had the water jugs attached like underneath and on the side of the chair, and then he had like various like bags next to him, his parachute, and then dude, his lunch is just sitting on his lap like in like a backpack.
Yes.
Like this guy's wild. That's awesome. That's wacky, Amanda.
Dude, Larry was the shit, man.
That's wacky, dude. That's incredible.
So that's my story. Lawnchair Larry.
Love
He
it.
is an inspiration for everyone.
Ash, would you have done that?
Hell no.
No? I mean, I'm scared of heights. I won't even go skydiving, so.
Honestly, if it was like a company and I had like a tether or something and like you could guarantee I wasn't going to fucking die, I might do it.
Yeah.
But hell no would I be doing that shit in my backyard.
If there was more like knowledge, like if I had knowledge on how to make that work.
Yeah, he seemed really with it.
Right.
Compared to like an idiot that just tied balloons and then just went. It's like he thought about it a little bit. So nobody else would carry a CB radio with them and stuff. So.
And a sandwich, a 2-liter,
two sandwiches,
and a case of beer.
A case of beer. I love it.
I love it.
Well,
you know
let's
what,
just.
though? He teaches you follow your dreams.
Yeah.
Yes. Follow your nose. That was. I don't know why I said that. I'm sorry.
In a world where time is limited, 3 heroes must heed the call. Will they weather the storm of a new show or favor the desire to scroll on? This is episode 1.
That's so intense.
Wow.
I watched a television show.
Yeah, this time it's Andy. Andy watched a thing.
I did, and it wasn't. I'm trying to remember why I put it on. It's like we needed to kill time.
Yeah, it was an hour before the Super Bowl.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was an hour before the Super Bowl, and I was like, okay, I'm sitting down. I got the TV on. I don't want to play a video game right now. I just want to I need something mind numbing. So I put on, and Amanda, I forget if you've also seen this before, but it's a show called Heels on Stars. Okay.
No.
Now, you and Chris did watch some type of wrestling show, though, correct?
We watched The Dark Side of the Ring.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Was that a TV series? I forget. Or a miniseries?
It's a docuseries about each episode is almost like a behind the music about a famous wrestling story or about a wrestler.
So this one, I watched the first episode. It is about a town in South Georgia called Duffy, Georgia, where a father had basically created his own wrestling league and like a giant warehouse. I forget what they actually call it in the show, but I think they call it the Dome. I'm not sure, but it's essentially this community of like professional wrestlers entertaining their town. It stars Stephen Amell, like the same guy that was in Arrow. He's a huge wrestling fan. And then it has all these cameos from professional wrestlers in it too, playing actors and stuff. So in a later episode, which I kind of spoil it, whether I would continue watching or not, I did. I watched 2 more episodes after this one. But the first episode basically deals with the idea of the eldest son. After the father passes away, he gets handed the company and he has to figure out how to make it relevant in this new era. They have competition of another wrestling promotion where a guy is like ECW extreme wrestling with like barbed wire and blood and that type of stuff. And they're trying to tell like traditional wrestling heel and face stories.
Yeah.
And they're trying to keep kayfabe in the town too. So if you're a bad guy, you have to stay a bad guy in the town. If you're a good guy, you have to stay a good guy in the town because they want the town to believe that you're those people. And essentially it's showing what's happening in that family. There is 2 brothers. The eldest brother is the one that got the company. And then the younger brother is like the face, like the superhero.
Yeah.
And he gets scouted by like a real professional wrestling promotion that wants to call him up. But his brother feels like he'd just be leaving them and abandoning the town. So in the story, he's supposed to win the championship and his brother screws him over in the first episode. So he basically does the Vince McMahon screw job in the first episode.
Yeah.
And almost breaks his arm and makes him tap out when that wasn't supposed to be how the storyline was supposed to go.
Spoiler.
And basically screws his, well, it's important, screws his ability to gain notoriety because his brother starts weeping and sobbing in the ring and they catch it all on video and everybody starts throwing cups and booing at him and blah, blah, blah. So I think it's cool because it's like it's down to earth. It's stars. So there's cursing and sex and that's like it's more reality driven, right? It's not like the PG era.
They're able to get more R-rated than professional wrestling can be now.
Right. So it is kind of cool. And you really do, me being a wrestling fan, you get to see like the insides and outsides of what that would be to like have a wrestling promotion, make it work. Stephen Amell just does a really good job. He's like the heel. They're both, they have the last name Spade. One's called Ace of Spades and one's called Jack of Spades, like like their characters. But the series itself it's really good. They all have Southern accents. CM Punk was in like, I think it was the second episode and he's like a squirrel man and he's like all dressed up and his son and his like mistress come out with him and they're in like fur garbs and they have like a possum like attached to a drone that spits blood at people and like CM Punk's character is just like super podunk like has this gnarly mullet
small wrestling promotion,
right? And so it was just kind of cool to see these characters and you start to see more and more as the series goes on. I just finished episode 3, which deals with like some pretty intense stuff. They find out, or you find out as a audience member, that their dad committed suicide, and that's why he left and gave up the wrestling promotion. So it gets really deep on like the relationship building and that type of stuff too. So I will say I think it's a really good show. I think it's worth a watch. Ash watched the first one with me. I don't know if you stayed up at all through the next couple.
I was only present for the first one.
Yeah.
But
How many seasons?
I don't know if they did a second season or if it's just one season so far. But I will say,
Do you want good news or bad news?
it's probably one season, isn't it?
They have 2 seasons, and it was canceled after that.
Yeah, I imagine it probably slows down. I can only imagine this story can only be told for so long, right?
Yeah,
It's a
how long
small
could you do it?
Like, yeah, because in the first
So-
episode, one of the guys like retires immediately, and then it kind of leaves him and his brother to like handle almost everything on their own, aside from a couple other select characters. So it's
Stephen
yeah,
Amell
Yeah.
is the heel.
yeah, he's the heel in the
And
show,
the
but he also
blonde guy
runs
I'm
it.
seeing with
Yep.
like the medium length hair, he's
Yep.
the face.
He's the face. Yeah,
He reminds me
in
of
the first
Shawn
episode.
Michaels. That's who I see there. Or
That's
Triple
kind
H. Not Triple H. Who's the? Maybe it is Triple H.
No, I think you're taking thing of Shawn Michaels because Shawn Michaels had like the pretty boy look. And
No,
like,
not Triple H.
But that's the Ace of Spades in the first episode. Like
The
he
Ace of
is
Spades.
like a hot, cocky,
Okay.
like up and comer, but people like him.
Yes, Shawn Michaels, but there was a guy, Chris Jericho.
Oh yes, I can see that. It's probably Michaels and Jericho mixed together. Is
Yeah.
like his character. is.
Okay, and then
Yeah.
is Stephen Amell's character kind of supposed to be Stone Cold Steve Austin?
That's kind of the like heel
Vibe.
level, but people don't like him. Where people cheered for Stone Cold Steve Austin, he's very much like talks the town down, calls people
Got it.
stupid.
Got it.
You know, but he's
He's
wearing
not.
the vest.
He's not the likable anti-hero yet.
Right.
Got it.
And so what he's doing, he's trying to teach his brother that Duffy needs the wrestling promotion and it's important for him to stay around. I think that his brother starts to get it, but they definitely have their drama issues throughout the entire series. So it was cool though. It was a unique take on the whole wrestling vibe. And even for people that don't like wrestling, I could see how you would enjoy the series though, just based on relationships alone.
I'll tell Chris. I bet he would watch it.
Yeah.
But honestly, I was thinking it actually wouldn't be the worst thing to be like, if they could find a way to keep the show ongoing,
Mhm.
it wouldn't be the worst thing for like retired wrestlers
Right.
to do because
To go
they
do
can
the
act.
acting, right, and they can pull off the moves.
They
you know,
well, and
in
they
the
can
ring they
play
need to do, yeah.
themselves. They just
Right.
can't physically slam the people anymore.
Yeah,
so there is
You know, like-
speculation because you watched it on Netflix, right?
yeah,
So it was canceled on Stars after 2 seasons, but now Netflix has picked it up and is airing it.
Oh, that if people
So
like
with
it,
Raw now going
yeah,
to Netflix,
oh,
and then also the popularity of the Vince McMahon documentary,
yeah.
That was
there's
wild.
speculation that they might pick up heels to continue it because apparently the second season ends with a cliffhanger.
Ooh, see, it is kind of
But
cool.
Not
to
the
see if
worst
there's-
idea.
I would really like it if there was a resurgence of people enjoying wrestling, but not because they think it's hokey anymore, but because
Yeah.
they like enjoy what it is. Because the whole like when I was a kid, the wrestling's predetermined thing was not really known, right? It was kind of like you thought that maybe there was. Oh, okay. I thought Amanda was frozen. She's just really good at statue. When you were a kid, you didn't really know what was real and what was fake, right? Like you kind of
'Cause it didn't
figured
matter.
out for the most part. Yeah. But now everybody knows it's predetermined. So I almost feel like you can tell a story differently and swerve people a different way. So
Well, you could almost make
yeah.
it like real, where it's like,
Right,
hey,
right.
like here's the peek behind the curtain, where
Right.
maybe they don't give everything away, but it's like, here's how we run a wrestling organization.
Yeah, there's some real beef storylines happening in WWE right now. Like one of the biggest wrestlers there, his name's Seth Rollins, and he has a feud with CM Punk, and they truly do not like each other. And so
Yeah.
it's really unique to see that storyline come in from like outside to inside the ring, and how they are being professional inside the ring, but still creating a storyline where they hate each other. It's unique, right?
Well, because I think at the end of the day, they know they need each other.
Well, it's always blown my mind. Imagine truly hating a guy, but then you get in the ring and you guys actually don't hurt each other because you're professionals. Like, isn't that
Because you
crazy?
still, it's like,
Right.
I don't like you as a person, but we
Right.
have to work together.
Right. I mean, these
Yeah.
guys are literally calling shots inside the ring like, hey, I'm going to punch you now, and you hate this guy, and you have to say, like, okay. Like,
And you have to pretend.
to fall down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That type of stuff. That blows my mind. It blows my mind. So anyway,
Wild.
that is my episode 1 for you guys, for the for our audience listening. I think you should check out Heels. I think you would enjoy it, even if you're not a wrestling fan.
I could see us
That's-
watching it.
That's what I say. That's it.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's it. Ash, you and I were talking earlier today, and you brought up, or maybe I brought up, stores.
Well, really, Amanda brought it up because she posted something on her Facebook in this regard.
Oh, okay. What was?
I don't know if
Amanda's
I'm ready
Facebook
to talk
post?
about this yet.
Oh,
No, I'm
it's
just
a
playing.
fresh
That hurt-
wound.
yeah, that
fresh
hurts her.
So-
That hurts her.
So listen, it's very fresh, so I apologize in advance if it's, a little raw for people. But I need to talk about something really serious.
Yeah.
And I'm very upset about it. And I really don't know what I'm going to do with myself because
Can't believe you're
Joanne Fabrics is fucking closing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
they are.
What am I going to do? What
Well,
what am I going to do? Like
So we have.
what do I
There's
do?
still Michaels. Is that not good enough?
What you have what?
I said there's still Michaels. Is that
Michaels?
that's not good enough?
Who's out of the yarn I want half the time?
There's
Whose
Hobby
yarn
Lobby.
section?
Yeah.
Whose
what about
yarn
Hobs
section
Lobs?
is
What about
half
Hobs
the
Lobs?
size of Joanne's? Hobby Lobby? Who pays money to anti-gay organizations? Actually, listen, here's the deal with Hobby Lobby, okay? People are going to shop there regardless. You shop where you want, okay? I'm not donating money to anti-gay organizations. Maybe, you shouldn't either, but live your life, okay? Here's my problem with Hobby Lobby. Their yarn is fine. And they actually have a ton of colors. The one thing I do like about Hobby Lobby is like if they have a yarn that's like rainbow, they are most likely gonna have at least half of the colors in the rainbow of like solid colors of yarn.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like
Andy's not following, but
no,
I'm
okay,
with you.
Andy,
Confused,
I made
yeah.
myself a blanket that was like black yarn, but
Yes.
in the black yarn there was pieces of like a berry purple, orange, yellow, and like a
Yes.
magenta.
Okay.
So it was like black and then all those colors that would just sort of slowly change on the blanket.
Sure.
So she can
So-
pair them.
So
The solid colors with the
obviously,
colors
so when
in
I
it.
was
Okay.
trying to choose to do a border on the blanket, obviously I could do black, right? Because it had
Right.
black. But in that instance, Hobby Lobby had a purple berry, an orange, a yellow, and a magenta of like a solid skein of yarn
Right.
of the same color as the pieces that were mixed in.
Got it. Okay.
So I could choose whatever color I wanted to do the border. And if I picked one of those 4 colors, it would match exactly. Or,
Got
as close to exactly as you're going to get.
Okay.
So that about Hobby Lobby I really like because it's all the same. But that is what I don't like about Hobby Lobby because they only have one brand of yarn. And it's their brand.
Got it.
So it's called like I love this yarn or something. And to their credit, they do have chunky yarn, regular yarn, cotton yarn. Like they have all the different options that you would be able to get at like Joann's. But it's just all their brands.
It's all just proprietary.
Yes. And because of that, there's no innovation.
Yeah.
There's no new textures. There's no new crazy wild colors that are coming out. There's no new textures or new colorways or like, so like one of the most like famous quote unquote brands that make yarn is called Red Heart, right? If you go and somebody's learned to crochet, they probably have, sorry if you can hear my child screaming, he's playing. So it's, like Red Heart. Now, one of the new things they've come out with is it's called granny square yarn. So in this skein of yarn, if you pull it all out and just kind of work as you go, you make granny squares, which are like a couple different like concentric squares that like get bigger on themselves. And people make a granny square blanket where you make, let's just say, 24 of these granny squares. And then you sew them all together and it makes like that patchwork blanket. You with me, Andy?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So there's a new style of yarn that came out that it makes its own color pattern. So if you make, let's just say, 10 granny squares with this one skein of yarn, they're all going to have a red middle, a white, a red center, a white middle, and a blue border if you just keep working them through the
consistently.
yarn.
Okay.
It self-stripes itself.
Okay.
And like that's, sorry if that was really convoluted, but like it's self-striping, but like, I don't know, even just like different, the thing that like a lot of people are doing right now is like neon color yarn. And I know nobody gives a shit about yarn, okay? I'm on a fucking tangent about yarn because I'm upset. Where am I going to get my yarn?
No.
The point is,
I'm upset. I'm spiraling. I found out about this like 5 hours ago.
and this is Amanda's brain when she's like, Joann's is closing.
Yes.
And Hobby Lobby doesn't have the yarn, but Joann's has the yarn because Brenda just came out with this cool yarn and I can only get it at Joann's and now I can't get it at Joann's.
Maybe it's a touch of the tism. I don't know. Probably. But
the point is, Joann's is closing like 500 stores. Amanda's
what I
spiraling.
like. And I don't
it's
like
not
change.
the only store that's closing.
No, it's not.
Right? Party City has closed.
Correct.
Most
upsetting.
of their stores.
That's another one.
Big Lots is closing a bunch of their stores. They got some of them saved by
GameStop just
GameStop
shut down
is shutting
over
down.
500 stores.
Sears closed their last store this year.
Yep.
CVS's are closing.
Yep.
Um,
There's something
what
else
else?
too. I don't know. There was another one that was going down.
JCPenney is closing a bunch of stores.
You already said Big Lots?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, some of these stores, I'm not terribly surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got dead business models now, I guess. But it is sad, though. We kind of go back to this whole brick and mortar thing not working for people because they all want to order online. But part of society doesn't work for everything to be online. So
yeah,
here's an example did you hear about the PlayStation Network outage?
Yeah, because Kendrick Lamar stole it and did it at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so PlayStation Network literally went down.
Yes.
And anybody that only had a digital library could not play video games for like an entire weekend.
And those three people who swear by digital media or physical media were like, see, I told you so.
Well, the only reason I bring it up is because that's what GameStop wrote on their Twitter is GameStop says, see, physical games matter now, don't they? And so
yeah, for a weekend.
Yeah, so it was kind of interesting about that side of things. But I will say there is a huge shift happening. These stores that we grew up with, those all shut down. And now you've got this new wave of all these stores shutting down. And I do wonder, like, eventually we will get to a point where the only place that you go to get anything is just going to be like food or a restaurant. And other than that, you'll get all your other goods online.
I don't agree.
You don't think that will happen?
I think that I absolutely agree that at some point, a lot of the retail establishments that we have will go away.
Right.
I fully agree. But I think that the thing that people always want is a bargain and a treasure hunt.
Sure.
And I think that things like thrifting, but TJ Maxx, Marshalls,
you
Ross,
see that stuff sticking around?
Where there's constantly new inventory and you never know what you're going to get.
Sure.
So you physically have to go in there to see what they have. And if you're in there, if you're looking for something in particular that somebody posted on TikTok, you're probably going to buy 5 other things.
Well, and I do know that you'll get those, what's it called? Last minute grabs from people either in the aisles or as they're walking somewhere. But I see where you're coming from on the tchotchke treasure hunting side.
Yeah.
I look at it too, like I don't see Lowe's or Home Depot. You know what I mean? You have to get hardware. You have to get lumber. Like you can't just order that online and hope for the best. You got to see the wood.
The trade jobs of people who need to physically go get something right now.
Something you need it right now.
And I think that like places like big business, Target, Walmart, that kind of stuff, that's never going to go anywhere. But the business model of the United States, some states are worse than others. does not support small business or niche business.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And by niche business, I mean like GameStop,
Yeah.
places where it's like, oh, I'm just going to go get it on eBay. I'm just going to go get it on Amazon.
Yeah. Right.
Like
Right.
it doesn't support that. So it is cheaper for these big businesses to take the loss on maybe somebody not finding what they want versus these companies who have like a brick and mortar location. And, you know, even like a physical store that has an online warehouse, unless you're probably a large business, you can't 100% have both.
Right. It's hard. Yes, it is very hard.
Because it's almost two businesses.
Well, we're a perfect example, right? I know we're not a large business, but like as a small business, we have an entire online storefront. But to keep that storefront online going, we have to have customers come in and trade in the product.
You mean the
Yes.
Video Game Cavern?
Yeah.
You said we, like as if
Sorry.
we have a business.
Sorry.
No,
But,
I was thinking
yeah.
of the Video Game Cavern because
Yeah,
it's like,
yep.
or even you almost need to have two completely separate types of inventory
Yeah. It's hard.
that you sell. I think that the used market will always have some type of resale because everything is cyclical.
Yeah. Yep,
So I
that's
think
fair.
that like that market will stay around and that kind of like bargain value thing will stay around. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of boutiques, clothing stores, like outlet malls stuff.
Yeah.
like,
you see all that
I-
shut down.
How much does it cost to keep that shit up?
Oh, they probably don't even
Yeah.
make enough to keep their doors
Like-
open, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Personally,
I mean,
I hate this shift. I hate buying stuff online. I hate not being able to see what I'm getting. I hate that I have to search through 1,000 different things to find something that I want to buy, and then chances are I'm not going to like it and I'll have to return it. So
and that's a hassle.
I've waited for it to come, and now I get it, and now I have to go return it, which
Yeah.
is a hassle. Like I would prefer if I need something to just go get it. And
Yeah.
unfortunately that's not truly an option anymore.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of forced into, well, if I want any kind of options at all, I have to go online. Like
Mhm.
we are probably going to cancel our Prime membership once the renewal comes around, because it's become so easy to just grab things online that I'm literally not leaving my house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fair enough.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, this is a problem. I'm spending more money
Right.
because everything's so easy,
Right.
Mhm.
right?
So the quantity outweighs the smaller things that you would get or the less frequent things you would get by going and try to find it yourself.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
so I was like, shoot, if I cancel Prime and I actually have to physically go out to a store and get something, I'm going to, one, know what I'm getting,
Sure.
and two, I'm not going to frivolously just buy things.
It's easy to
because
click.
It's easy
Yeah.
to click and
It's
just
easy to
have it
click.
delivered to my front door. And
I mean, absolutely. I tend to use Amazon mostly for like it's funny because I was actually thinking about it as you were saying, Ashley, because I'm always out of the house. I'm always running errands. I'm already out. And the things that my errands, like the things I have to do, I want scheduled shit. I want to be able to click an Amazon link and have my energy drinks just at my house because I don't want to have to go get that shit. My groceries, I want to just pull up, have them put in my trunk and go home. Like, I don't want to have to go into that. But that's when I enjoy when I do physically go into somewhere, I'm going in to just look at stuff.
yeah.
Right.
And
But
do
see,
I
that's-
buy most of it? No. But it's like I'm choosing to physically go to just like be a consumer, I guess I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want it to be enjoyable. And having to do the chores part of errands is not enjoyable.
What's funny though is that you can't have one without the other, because if
Yeah.
we go just to browse, that's not paying for that brick and mortar to stay open. So if you're not buying anything when you go, and we're like, man, it really sucks this store's closed. I used to love to shop it. You used to love to shop, or you used to love to just look at stuff inside of it?
Well, and that's where when you talk
Yeah.
about like the TJ Maxx's and Home Goods and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, like I will go there to browse 90% of the time, maybe even more than 90% of the
You
time.
walk out with
I don't
nothing?
buy anything.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because
see, I do.
I'm just going to browse.
Yeah.
When I go out, I am going out because I am looking for something specific that I want or need.
It has to call to you.
Right. And I'm not
Yeah.
somebody to just go to a random store and be like, I don't need this, or nor was I looking for it, but now I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
So, like, for me, those aren't my go-to stores that I would want to stay open. Granted, none of the stores I listed that are closing are stores I care about in the least.
Really? Like none of that stuff you'll miss?
Nope.
Joann Fabrics you wouldn't miss?
When's the last time I went to Joan Fabrics?
Well, I didn't even know. Do we have one here? I don't think so.
Yeah, it's way over on Haywood.
Oh, okay. No, and then, I mean, I've gone to Michael's to get a crate, but that was like a year and a half ago. 2
Michael's
years
ain't
ago.
closing.
I'll go to Michael's. I'll go to Hobby Lobby. I don't care about Joann's. I used to work at Joann's,
Well, I'll go to Michael's for art supplies, though.
I
Like,
love
I'll go to
Joann's,
get like,
but I don't go there.
yeah, that's fair.
See, I think I liked going to Party City to like get party supplies and stuff, but like, you know,
I hate Party City. It hasn't changed in 20 years.
No,
It- well,
and
it has
I'd
now.
go there. I would only go there just because I knew they would probably have what I was looking for.
Sure.
I
But,
would
like-
go there and look for something I'm looking for, end up walking out with 10 Tootsie Rolls.
Oh, fully. But
Yes, there's
See,
snack
like,
aisle.
especially, you know, like birthdays and stuff, like I would always go there to get like birthday decorations for the house. But it's like I can get those other places.
Yeah.
Like Party City, like the store was always empty.
Yep.
Like there were times where it was like, how do they have so much inventory that their shit's all the way to the ceiling? Like,
Because they had it from last year.
oh yeah, and
Yeah,
that's my
and
thing
then
is
you
like,
forget they were never
I'm a
selling
little-
anything.
I'm disappointed to hear that they close. Like, oh, that sucks. But it was like, yeah.
So I
Like-
do have a question for both of you when it comes to that, right? Amanda said, I can go to Party City, but I can just go other places to get it. What are the other places that you can go?
I mean,
Aside
it would be
the-
a
not
large
Walmart or
big
Target.
box store. It would
It
be
would
Amazon.
be a Walmart, a Target, a
Mhm.
Hobby Lobby, or
And
Amazon.
That's all I can think of. And if those big box stores, those are the only things that are up and running, do you think that the pendulum's going to swing the other way? All these stores will shut down that were big box, and now you start to have more small businesses again fill their place with that type of stuff. Speaking of, we have a place next to us called Wilson's, which is literally like a 5 cent and above store that has all the Party City stuff that you just talked about, but it's locally owned, and basically their profit is coming directly from whatever their distributor is to their customer without some middleman big box stuff. So they probably make more profit than a big
I think
box
it's a
store
rarity.
would.
I think it's a local thing where they're still existing because the locals know
Yeah.
about it. I think that convenience rules and
Yeah.
it continues to be the number one factor in why people choose what they choose. And I only think that's growing. I don't think that's slowing down right now.
Is Amazon even cheaper anymore though? Like at the end of the day?
I
yeah,
mean,
but you have to fish through 800 of the same item from different distributors.
yeah, a handful of the things that I buy, Amazon is the cheapest. But a handful of things that I like, I think even more so the things that I buy, Walmart is the cheapest.
Yeah. I didn't used to think that, but now I do. I feel like Walmart's prices have been better. Target went nuts over the last like 3 or 4 years, and
I
all their
think
stuff became really expensive.
Target was
again.
definitely a competitor, and they had a lot of things that were cheaper than Walmart, and now
Yep.
it's swung the other way.
Now,
Target
Amanda,
has
you
inflated.
still have Fred Meyer where we don't. We don't have. There's not a third option anymore. So you can
Dude,
go to Fred Meyer, Target,
Marysville
or-
has a surprising amount of brands of grocery stores.
Yeah.
There's Albertsons, Safeway, and Hagen.
Mhm.
There's Fred Meyer, Walmart, Target.
Right. So you
That's
got a lot of places
bananas.
to go get
Yeah,
groceries.
but like Andy
So-
says, like Walmart, Target, and Fred Meyer are the only ones that have like food and household items.
yeah, the
Food
department
and
stores.
stuff.
Yeah.
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 So, Walmart's the cheapest by far. I can and like some people flip shit to people who shop at Walmart. Let me be real. Yeah, I would love to spend my money elsewhere,
Yeah.
but realistically, I can't afford to shop anywhere else.
We used to be that way.
Can
and
I
now
make
we
a
don't
point?
care.
If people are so broke right now, if the economy is so bad, why is Costco always booming? Because nobody's walking out of there under $100.
Yeah, it's $400,
And see, that's the thing.
items. Yeah.
We haven't been going to Costco recently just because we haven't. It's like every time we go, it's $300.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude,
Yep.
I can get everything we need for the week at Walmart for under $100.
Yeah.
Right?
Like,
Yeah.
and
It's
I
hard
can
to do
probably
bulk.
also get more socks for Lincoln or something for whatever, or a new flange for the toilet. Like, it's like Walmart has everything I need for the kitchen and for everywhere else. Like,
So I don't know. To me, that just seems like such a sad future. Just to know that my only destination when I leave the house is going to be Walmart.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't know where this future goes. I guess we'll see. It can't be online everything forever because then no one will have jobs.
And what
Well-
happens to all the store space too? All these big box stores closing down. What goes there? Like
I
just
don't
empty
know.
buildings?
Spirit Halloween.
Exactly.
it'll just be.
That's why I'm
it'll
wondering
just
which one of
be-
these closing stores is going to be the new Spirit Halloween.
Oh, Joanne's would make a
plenty
good
of
one.
space.
Yeah, Joanne's at Party City's easy Halloween.
Oh
stores,
yeah.
for
Well,
sure.
I mean, honestly,
Oh.
like, it's just it's crazy. Like, I think that a lot of these places, especially the slightly smaller ones, like the GameStops and stuff like that,
Yep.
they're just being taken over by these newer type of corporation owned kind of grab and go food places like Crumble and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
You're not wrong. Yep.
Yeah.
I've noticed a lot of that kind of going in.
Like share tea, stuff like that.
Well, see, the problem with GameStop is that they are just like a lot of these businesses, they're shareholders that have to have a certain amount of investment. And if you don't make that, then you start cutting labor. You don't have employees to run the store. Then you don't have a store. Or consumers are just like, I don't want to go shop there anymore. And I have a feeling that GameStop is not the only one that has that exact same formula, which is why they've shut down. So you've got I think Joann's was probably that same way. I bet not only did they probably not treat their employees very well, right? Because Ash used to work there once. She hated it, didn't you?
I did not hate it.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Take it back. Maybe they're great to their people. Big Lots. I always thought Big Lots was super unique. Like, you could go in and look at couches and chairs at the same time as have some grocery items and some outdoor items and
Yeah,
those
but it
types
was
of
always
things,
just
but-
random shit.
Oh yeah,
We never
it's
bought
like a Ross.
anything. We
Yeah,
end up buying like a
yeah.
box of cream pies and
it's
like
pretty-
Yeah, but Big
It's
Lots would
pretty
be the
rare.
place that I would go in the most, and I would leave with nothing.
Yeah.
But Big Lots to me is like the equivalent of like Ross, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and I'd rather shop there.
Well, I felt that way about Target for the longest time, and then they updated. You remember when they made
Yeah.
everything look a lot nicer, and they kind of kept all the
that's
same.
when they knocked Kmart out of the market.
Yeah, because
Yep.
they had the whole ugly pegboard still, but all they did is just put like a wallpaper
in front
on
of
it,
it.
and it looked good. And like Kmart was like, should have thought of that. Like they screwed up, but now Target's starting to feel dated again. Like I don't feel like it's had the upgrades that it needs, and we're losing everything. One of the first things that's going to go, GameStop included, is like electronic stores, because I feel like people buy that stuff online now. They buy their games, they buy their wires, you buy your cables, you don't go looking for that
'cause
stuff very often.
You with Amazon, with Walmart, everybody's competing with the lowest seller.
Right.
So, I mean, there's no point in needing a Fry's or anything like that because they
Right.
can't compete.
Yeah, because didn't Fry's just close all their stores as well?
I don't know. I just know that's one out here.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, but-
Best
yep,
Buy.
Yep.
I'm sorry, if I go into Best Buy and want an HDMI cable,
Yeah.
I'm gonna pay $20 for one, and it'll be shorter than one I can get on Amazon for probably $9.99.
Yeah, or less. And well, and that's always been what they've done. Their accessories, they've tried to make the margin on because they can't make anything anywhere else. But I don't think these big box stores are gonna last because of that model. But once you get too big, you have too many mouths to feed, you can't do it. You just can't do it. So they just shut down. So I don't know what type of bankruptcy a lot of these are going through. I know there's like chapter 7 versus chapter 11.
Yeah.
Like 7 is basically where you're not gone, but you're you don't owe your debt
You're still a
back
going
or
concern.
something
Yeah.
like that. So I don't know. Guess we'll see where it goes from here. That's exciting.
Yeah. Sorry, Amanda.
Yeah,
sorry about your yarn
Yes,
problem.
sorry about your
It's a problem.
Go
Oh,
stock up.
boy.
You know, when they jack up those prices and then they have a store closing sale.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the thing. Like, if I go buy, like, if that's my problem, I'm like, okay, one of my clients does work for Joanne Fabrics, and I said, I was like, will you please let me know when the yarn gets like crazy cheap? And she's like, I will. But I mean, honestly, a lot of that kind of stuff, they're just gonna sell off, and they're gonna just ship it out.
Yeah.
Like.
Yep.
A lot of the stuff will not be able to be passed on to the consumer at a discounted price.
Well, it's like Bed Bath and Beyond. They closed, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
They gave all their inventory to Hobby Lobby.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So when you see all that, like the housewares and stuff, the kitchen items and Hobby
Yep.
Lobby now, that's all just repackaged from Bed Bath and Beyond.
Well, and there's all these stores now like the Coho and Ollie's that we have in town.
Yeah.
Where they buy all the
Off the
stuff that
truck.
can't sell at these big box
But
big
again, like
box
Amanda
stores
said,
too,
that's like
so,
bargain hunters. Like,
yeah. So I think
Yeah.
that stuff might stick around a bit. Crazy. Amanda,
Yes.
what did we talk about this episode? I already forgot. We talked
I don't
about
know.
weird,
we talked
wacky
about.
world. Dude, that balloon guy
Larry.
was
I
crazy.
told you
Larry
the
was
story
crazy.
of Lawnchair Larry.
Mhm.
You talked about heels.
Yeah, watch heels.
We talked about my yarn problem.
If
is a problem.
if people want to join the conversation, where can they reach out to us?
Definitely check us out at our Instagram at Real Awkward Podcast. We have links to all of our socials over there.
Bingo. Amanda, lead us out with some quotes.
I have
From,
one quote.
A quote. Is
Okay.
that what we call it? From a sentence?
I don't know.
always setting the bar so high.
Sorry.
I know. God damn. Here's just like a life lesson, like some, just something to take through your day. Whenever someone asks how you are, just make up a lie like, I'm okay. No one wants to hear about your fucking problems.
God, we'll see you guys later.
Bye bye.